Hello everyone, today I would like to introduce to you a brand new ecosystem model. Before discussing the economic model, let me first tell you about who built it. Our Spartan prediction ecosystem was created by Anubis Foundation, which invested $300 million to build the Anubis chain, and then supported by Anubis Labs with an $8 million investment to launch the Anubis Foundation's Pure Blood flagship ecosystem. Now, let's focus on this economic model and its biggest highlight compared to the currently popular Olympus DAO model. After years of research and exploration, the Anubis Foundation has optimized the traditional high-open low-close problem of the Olympus DAO model at the mechanism level, while fundamentally solving the cell pressure issue from multiple dimensions. Next, I will specifically introduce our latest economic model O2, the optimized version of Olympus DAO, the balanced minting protocol. Prediction ecosystem economic model asterisk. The core of this model revolves around four key elements. First, the governance token. Second, the yield-bearing token. Third, community incentives. Fourth, market stabilization protocol. Through the collaborative operation of these four modules, we hope to build a sustainable growth prediction trading ecosystem. This is not merely a trading platform, but a complete ecosystem with long-term value accumulation capability, community consensus-driven governance, and self-regulating market mechanisms. We call it future consensus. Next, let's look at the overall structure of the entire Spartan prediction ecosystem. Spartan adopts a very core design, the dual token synergistic model, that is, GD, governance token, RM, yield-bearing token. These two tokens are not operating independently, but have clear division of labor and collaborate with each other. The entire ecosystem revolves around four major structures. First, the governance layer. Second, the yield layer. Third, the community layer. Fourth, the market layer. Through these four layers of structure, we have built a complete economic closed loop with growth, yield mechanisms, incentives, community systems, stability, market protocols, and value accumulation, ultimately achieving long-term growth plus community governance, plus market stability plus value accumulation. Spartan's entire economic model actually revolves around three core objectives. The first objective, establish a sustainable yield and incentive mechanism that allows users not only to participate, but to be willing to participate long-term. The second objective, establish an incentive structure that supports community expansion and governance synergy, turning growth from short-term fission into sustained and genuine growth. The third objective, establish a stabilization and protection mechanism that can respond to market fluctuations, ensuring that prices do not fluctuate dramatically while having liquidity support. In this system, GD is responsible for governance, settlement, and value capture. RM is responsible for incentives, circulation, and ecological usage. The community system is responsible for growth, and the market protocol is responsible for stability. The four together constitute a complete logical closed loop. Next, we will focus on the dual token model. First is GD, the governance token. It mainly undertakes four core roles: platform governance voting, protocol parameter adjustment, prediction market settlement, ecosystem value capture. That is to say, GD equals power plus decision making plus core value. Next is RM, the yield-bearing token. Its positioning is rights carrier, yield distribution medium, community incentive tool, core circulating token of the market. RM's issuance mechanism is an algorithmic adaptive incentive engine, meaning it is not a fixed release, but dynamically adjusted according to ecosystem dynamics. To summarize in one sentence, GD governs power, RM governs benefits. The two work together to form a complete economic system. Next, let's look at the specific design of the GD governance token. The total issuance of GD is 390,000 tokens, extremely scarce. The entire allocation model follows three principles: long-term incentives, ecosystem growth, risk reserve. Let's look at the allocation structure. 35% Genesis Cornerstone Plan, 25% liquidity incentives, 10% DAO ecosystem rewards, 10% team and contributors, 10% ecosystem fund, 5% strategic cooperation, 5% treasury reserve. At the same time, it adopts a phased release mechanism. For example, linear release, 5 years. Lockup, cliff plus linear. On-demand release, DAO controlled. The core purpose of this design is only one: to prevent cell pressure and ensure long-term stability. Continuing, we enter a very critical part of the entire model, the RM incentive economic engine. This part can be understood as the power system of the entire ecosystem. It mainly consists of three core engines. First, the yield accumulation engine. Second, the community incentive engine. Third, the trading and liquidity engine. At the same time, on top of these three engines, there is also a very critical capability overlaid, the value stabilization for layer engine. So the entire structure can be understood as, the first three layers are responsible for growth, and the latter layer is responsible for stability, ultimately achieving both the ability to rise and the ability to remain stable. Next, let's first focus on the first core module, the yield accumulation engine. The core objective of this part is very simple: let users earn money and be willing to stay long-term. The entire yield system is not from a single source, but composed of multiple modules. Genesis cornerstone plan, flexible staking pool, long-term staking pool, bond yield module. That is to say, short-term users with liquidity, medium to long-term users willing to lock up, can all find suitable yield paths that suit them. The following is very critical. This is the early core of the entire ecosystem. Genesis cornerstone plan asterisk. This is a co-building plus incentive plus identity system launched for early participants. First, it issues Genesis NFT, globally limited to 10,000 pieces. Holding this NFT, you can obtain for core rights, airdrop priority, yield multiplier, governance seats, exclusive discounts. In addition, there is a very important design, the 4-tier growth system, from S1 to S4, S1 Pioneer, S2 Guardian, S3 Core Pioneer, S for Elite. Each level corresponds to different yield multipliers, up to 5x. What is the core logic here? The earlier the participation, the higher the yield, and the stronger the identity binding. Next are the participation methods that all of us can choose. Flexible staking plus long-term staking and bonds. Flexible staking pool. The positioning of this product is very clear, to provide users with flexible yields. Its several key features: can participate at any time, can exit at any time, yields accumulate automatically, specific yield mechanism, 0.22% till 0.93% per rebase cycle, with 2 rebases per day. The key point: all yields are automatically compounded. That is to say, you don't need to do anything. The system automatically rolls the yields for you. To summarize in one sentence, low threshold plus high flexibility plus automatic compounding. If what was just mentioned is flexible yield, then here is the core tool for long-term value players. Long-term enhanced staking pool. The logic here is, the longer the lockup, the higher the yield. Let's look at the cycles: 180 days, 360 days, 540 days. Corresponding yields, up to 30% yield boost, with a target cycle return of up to 500%. There is also a key point: yields are based on rebase times to stacking, plus additional yield boosts to accelerate your returns. Core advantages summarized in 3 points: improved yield efficiency, enhanced compounding capability, and increased user retention. In one sentence summary: exchange time for yields, exchange lockup for stability. Next, this module is something many projects do not have: the bond yield mechanism. It is divided into 2 types. First, liquidity bonds. Second, treasury bonds. Their roles are respectively: liquidity bonds, enhance market liquidity; treasury bonds, enhance protocol reserves. Participation method: discounted purchase plus lockup yields. That is to say, you exchange assets for tokens at a lower price, while requiring lockup. Yield logic: the longer you lock, the greater the discount, and the higher the yield. When market supply exceeds demand, which means market demand is not that strong and prices continue to decline, bonds will no longer offer discounts, and everyone will trade and purchase in the pools. Conversely, when market demand increases and prices definitely rise, the treasury will receive the signal and bonds will start offering discounts to meet market demand. What problem does this mechanism solve? Capital stability plus enhanced liquidity plus reduced sell pressure. Next, we enter the second major core module, the community incentive engine. This part solves an industry challenge. Why do most projects boom in the early stage and have no one later? Spartan's answer is, use AI plus data plus dynamic mechanisms to redefine who should receive rewards. The core includes 3 parts: ICS intelligent scoring system, Trizoni incentive model, DAO governance rewards. In one sentence summary, it is not about referring more people to make money, but about making greater contributions to make money. ICS intelligent scoring system. This is the core of the entire community mechanism. The ICS intelligent scoring system. Its essence is, using AI to evaluate the value of an individual team. The scoring formula is score equals 0 to H plus 0 for C plus 0 to A plus 0 to R. The 4 dimensions are respectively H, holding strength, C, community contribution, the most important, accounting for 40%, activity level, R, retention rate, that is to say, contribution is the largest and has the highest weight. Moreover, the score is not fixed. It is dynamically updated every 30 days. What is the core significance? It eliminates passive earning and requires continuous contribution. The AI dynamic governance model addresses industry pain points plus Spartan solutions. Traditional problems, pulling people and then lying flat. Loss of core members, old players occupying yields long term. No real contribution assessment. How does Spartan solve it? Using LICS for dynamic assessment. Core values in 3 sentences. Contribution determines yields, activity determines weight, retention determines the future. This is actually doing one thing, transforming the community from a headcount model to a value model. Trizony incentive model. It is a fission growth model. The Trizony triangular incentive model. It divides the community into 3 zones. Core zone, 8%. Synergy zone, 4%. Ecosystem zone, 2%. The total incentive pool upper limit is 20%. But the focus is not on the proportions, but that rewards are dynamic and depend on the score. ICS. Unlock conditions include holding standards, user quantity standards, and activity standards. Core value, prevent account farming, encourage genuine growth, and improve retention. In one sentence summary, it is not about referring more, but about doing better. Next, let's explain the Spartan Community's DAO governance reward pool mechanism. Spartan Community, based on the ICS Intelligent Community Scoring System and the 12-tier growth ladder, implements growth incentives, dynamic governance allocation, and ecological rights release for community core nodes, continuously promoting long-term community co-building and ecological expansion. Next, let's look at this 12-level table item by item. First column, rank, level, from V1 to V12. Respectively, V1 Recruit, V2 Warrior, V3 Captain, V4 Commander, V5 Guardian, V6 Governor, V7 Strategist, V8 Elder, V9 Consul, V1 Zero General, V1 1 Grand Consul, V1 to Spartan King. Second column, Brand Identity. Each level corresponds to a clear community role identity. Third column, Governance Weight. Governance weight starts from 500 at V1 and gradually increases to 25,000 at V12. The higher the level, the higher the individual's intelligence and weight. Fourth column, Node Count. Node count starts from 3 nodes at V1 and gradually increases to 20 nodes at V12. Node count represents the number of effective accounts that need to be directly referred at that level. Fifth column, Ecosystem Scale. Ecosystem scale grows from 10,000 at V1 to 2 V11 levels at V12. Starting from V10, ecosystem scale is described by how many next level nodes are owned. For example, V10 owns 2 V9, V12 owns 2 V11. Sixth column, Rights release interval. Rights release ratio increases from 5% minus 10% at V1 to 85% minus 100% at V12. The higher the level, the greater the proportion of ecological rights released and the stronger the incentive. Summary: this mechanism builds a clear system of community contribution and returns through 5 dimensions: level growth, governance weight, node quantity, ecosystem scale, and rights release ratio. The higher the level, the greater the governance power, ecological scale, and rights release ratio, thereby encouraging community members to participate and co-build the ecosystem long-term. Spartan Community introduces the Energy Release Control Protocol. The core purpose of this mechanism is to ensure the rhythm of community yield release and long-term ecological stability. All basic rules. When users claim community yields and enter the turbo trading pool, energy value will be consumed at a 1:1 ratio. The release rule is, the yield quota that users can release is capped by the currently available energy value. That is, you can only release as much yield as you have energy. IA. Energy acquisition paths. There are currently 2 ways to acquire energy. The first is through deflationary burning. Users can actively burn tokens to obtain energy value at a dynamic ratio. The dynamic range is 200% to 600%, meaning the energy acquisition ratio can be automatically adjusted under automatic contract operation conditions. The second Long-term staking to obtain energy value. The staking cycle and yield rights are as follows. Staking 360 days. Yield rights 150%. Energy value 150%. Staking 540 days. Yield rights 200%. Energy value 200%. Summary: the Energy Release Control Protocol controls the rhythm of yield outflow through the mechanism of releasing yields requires consuming equivalent energy. Energy is mainly obtained through long-cycle staking and token burning. This not only incentivizes long-term participation, but also maintains the stable development of the ecosystem. Trading and liquidity engine. Spartan Protocol's turbo trading engine. All basic mechanism. All rebase yields and community yields, upon claiming, will uniformly enter the protocol's turbo trading pool. The protocol will automatically use funds equivalent to the claimed yields to buy RM yield-bearing tokens at a 1:1 ratio. After purchase, these tokens will enter a locked state, i.e., automatic execution rules. The entire process is divided into 3 steps. First step, automatic purchase after yield claiming. While the user claims the yield, the protocol automatically executes the buy operation. Second step, lock for 24 hours. The purchased RM tokens will be locked for 24 hours. Third step, after lockup ends. After 24 hours, the tokens are automatically released and claimed to the personal wallet. IAA. Core mechanism value. The turbo trading engine brings 4 core values. First, delay immediate sell pressure. Avoid direct market inflow of yields after claiming, forming concentrated sell pressure, thereby smoothing market fluctuations. Second, continuous buy support. All yield claims are automatically converted into real market buy orders, continuously supporting the price of RM tokens. Third, increase trading activity. Continuously increase the platform's transaction volume and market activity. Fourth, transaction fee yield feedback. Transaction fees will continuously feed back to the protocol ecosystem and buyback fund. IV. Flowchart review. The flowchart in the image also clearly shows this closed loop. 0:1 yield claim 0 to automatic buy 0:3 24 lock 0 for fee generation. 0:5 buyback invoice 0:6 price support return to yield claim, forming a cycle. Summary: the turbo trading engine, through the mechanism of yield claim automatic RM by 24 lock release, converts yields that might have been directly sold into continuous buy support for the market, while generating fees to feed back the ecosystem. This is a core design that can both stabilize the market and incentivize long-term holding. Spartan Protocol's transaction fee distribution model. Overview of fee model. The platform adopts a buy 0%, sell 5% transaction fee model. That is, no fee on buys, 5% fee on sells. All collected fees will be automatically allocated to various core modules in the ecosystem according to protocol rules. IA. 5% fee allocation plan. The 5% fee is divided into 4 parts. First part, platform fund, 0.5%, used for platform operations and technical support maintenance. Second part, buyback fund, 1.2%, used to buy back GD tokens and RM tokens and burn them. The default buyback ratio is GD 0.6%, RM 0.6%. At the same time, the protocol can dynamically adjust the buyback weights of these 2 tokens according to market conditions. Third part, Community Development Fund, 1.3%, used for community building and market promotion. Fourth part, Ecosystem Fund, 2%, used for fund reserves and ecological expansion. IAA. Allocation Structure Review. Summary of the 5% fee allocation structure. 0.5% to Platform Fund, 1.2% to Buyback Fund, 1.3% to Community Development Fund, 2% to Ecosystem Fund. Total 5%. Core Logic Summary. The 5% fee generated on sells does not flow to any individual or centralized team, but is fully and automatically returned to the core modules of the ecosystem. Part for operations, part for buyback and burn, part for community building, part for ecological reserves and expansion. This is a fully self-circulating and sustainable protocol economic model. Spartan Value Stabilization for Layer Engine. This is the first layer, Dynamic Market Balance Protocol. All trigger conditions. The core monitoring indicator of the protocol is the 3-hour time-weighted average price, referred to as TWAP. When the 3-hour TWAP decline is greater than or equal to